Have you ever thought to yourself, man, you know I love meleeing and everything, but maybe I just want to shoot stuff, Wet? Like, come on. Do you have something for me? I want to shoot things. You bet your butt I do. I've got an awesome range team here. The first member of that would be Pyromancer. With the dagger, crit chance, attack speed, swift slaying. This thing's already pretty fast, and Pyromancer, with this build, is going to get tons and tons of crit chance. So, definitely build for that. Swift slaying lets you just swing faster. You have great mobility with the dagger. It's a tremendous weapon. Definitely her best. The staff, I like the bolt staff. You can go power versus infantry, a power versus chaos and hunter. It's good for monsters. You can spam it for hordes and things like that. It's good for kind of messing around with your overcharge. You can also go like fireball if you want, but that's a little more friendly fire-ish, I think, than the bolt staff if you are accurate. The necklace, I go health, block cost reduction, and bark skin. You can definitely do natural bond. You can definitely do boon to Shalia too. You're going to want to keep her health pretty high to get extra crit chance with this build, but really any of these be fine. The charm gets power versus chaos, attack speed, and decanter. Decanter is going to be good for her because you're going to want to give her all the purples pretty much, just so she can do her ultimate, spam her burning head. It'll give her temp health and it'll kill everything. It's excellent for monsters. Her trinket gets curse resistance, crit chance, and shrapnel. And the talents, I go for Sparksmith, damaging for temp health, spirit casting. This is a very important one. She gets 10% extra crit chance when she's above 80% health, which is kind of why we're going to be wanting to keep her alive and give her as much health as possible. Enhanced power for her ranged weapon and her fire damage and like cleave and stuff like that. One with the flame, critical mass also increases attack speed by 2% per 6 overcharge, stacks up to 5 times, so you can get 10% increased attack speed with this. If you want to just do more range damage, you can go for On the Precipice, increases range power by 15% when at or above critical overcharge. This is good if you're really skilled at like keeping her overcharge high without overheating. That's also nice. Deathly Dissipation, not really one of my favorites, but if you kill a special, it stops your spells from generating overcharge for 10 seconds. You can spam it basically, but you kind of have to get a little lucky. You have to, number one, you have to find a special, and number two, you have to get the kill on it. I think one of these two would be a little more practical, but they all work. Down here, Voln's Doctrine, you're no longer slowed from being overcharged. Pretty much like my favorite thing ever because I hate being slowed. And then down here, this is without question, in my opinion, her best ultimate. Burning Head grants 35 temp health when used. That's going to work really nicely with spirit casting, and it's also going to like keep her alive. And if you have decanter and a purple potion, imagine how much temp health you're going to make. You could probably get like 3 or 4 of these off and be full health and be killing a monster murderously. So on Pyro, the higher your overcharge, the higher your crit chance with this build. Works for both range and melee. Allows you to be pretty devastating for both hordes and monsters. You have really good mobility with the dagger, allowing for solid crowd control and temp health generation. So believe it or not, the Waystalker is actually not a completely useless character. For her, like the sword and dagger, it's already pretty fast. You don't really need attack speed for that. I go crit chance, power versus chaos, and swift sling. A little bit of extra damage there. Wonderful. Magnifique. For the bow, I like the longbow. Crit chance, power versus Skaven and hunter. Really good for specials, elites. If you find you lack damage to monsters, you can go for the Hagbane. This is great to spam into any kind of monster, really. Also decent for hordes. I go for infantry, Skaven, and barrage on that. The necklace, Health block cost reduction, I have Natural Bond on there right now. You can use that. You can use Bunashalia, and you can also use Bark Skin. They all work pretty well on this kind of a build. The Charm gets Power's Chaos, Attack Speed, and Concoction. The Pyromancer is going to be requiring the purple potions, as she will have Decanter. The Waystalker will be able to take Speed Potions, Strength Potions, just to get her ability back another time, just to help out a little bit with the monster, or a crushing amount of elites. The Trinket, same as the Pyromancer's, Curse Resistance, Crit Chance, and Shrapnel. Going to help with that Swift Sling and monsters as well. For the talents, I like Dryad's Thirst. The Sword and Dagger is pretty fast, so making temp health not really a big deal. Makes it quite easy. Bloodshot is a nice little talent. When you kill any kind of enemy, you get to fire an additional arrow for 10 seconds. So it actually ends up saving you ammo across the map, and it's really good for monsters, especially with the Hagbane. Assassin gives you the best kind of overall damage for both melee and range, as you get 40% bonus damage on crits and on headshots, so that's really nice. Rejuvenating Locust is a pretty nice, in my opinion, mandatory talent for this team, as it will heal everybody up to half health, 3 health every 10 seconds. Just a very nice team ability here, keeping everybody alive, and it's going to help the Pyromancer keep her extra 10% crit chance bonus up there, because you want it to be, losing too much health. And then down here, Azrai Focus, just a 20% cooldown removal on True Shot Volley, get that back a little faster. I personally like Loaded Bow for her ultimate. This just fires another arrow, so it's 4 instead of 3. This is a really great ult for Plague Monks. If you're someone that really struggles with Plague Monks, like I think most people do, this ult can take out like 6 to 8 of them, I think, in one usage. So, I mean, just kind of depending on like the angle and whatever, it's quite good. If you find you run out of ammo a lot, this one, if you ult an elite or special, you get 30% ammo back. The Piercing Shot here, this is a bit of a higher skill talent, but if you get a headshot with this one, the whole thing is refunded and you get it right back immediately. So can be very devastating for a monster if you have that aim, but I think most people would benefit from Loaded Bow. Well, ladies and germs. A Rat Ogre. My absolute favorite. One thing I like about Loaded Bow is how it lets you deal pretty well with elites, and pretty decent for monsters. Now, if you get the headshot, that is. From the back, it's not quite as good. So it's also pretty good for Plague Monks and various other elites. The Sword and Dagger, of course, lets you pretty much just quickly get tons of slashes on everything. And the Sword and Dagger can take out a Chaos Warrior with fair amounts of ease. Now that we have 2 solid range elements to the team, we're going to need a front man, someone to kind of control the horde and give the other members of the party some room to shoot stuff. I choose Mercenary Kruger for that. I like him with the Tuskor Spear. If you don't have DLC, you can use the Executioner Sword or the Halberd. Both are quality options. With the Tuskor Spear, I go for Stamina, Crit Chance, and Swift Slaying. I use the Repeater Handgun simply to help out for monsters, but you can really use whatever here. It's not going to be that important. The Necklace, I go for Stamina, Health, and Bark Skin with this guy. There's a reason I don't go for block cost reduction, and that's completely because the Spear, I use a lot of push hit motions with this, which is going to eat up stamina, and you're going to want as much as possible. The charm, I go for power versus chaos, attack speed, concoction. Again, you don't really want somebody taking too many purples away from the Pyromancer, but you can do decanter if you want. You can spam that temp health talent. That's can be quite helpful, so it's up to the party to kind of work that out. But I just stick with concoction for this guy. You get it back once with any kind of potion. It's easy. Trinket, same as the others, curse resistance, crit chance, and shrapnel. For the talents, Drill Master, damaging for temp health, more the merrier, increased power by 5% for every nearby enemy, stacking up to 5 times. Smiter for the charge attacks on the Tuskor Spear. Reichland Reaper increases power by 15% when Pace Strikes is active, which you're going to have active all the time with the Spear here. Blade Barrier for a little bit of damage reduction when Pace Strikes is active, 25%. And then Walk It Off, your ult that gives temp health, 25 temp health, and with this 40% damage reduction for 10 seconds. So again, it's going to help out with Pyromancers, a little bit of crit bonus there. It's going to help keep everybody alive and taking less damage. So this is kind of what I'm talking about when I talk about the Tuskor Spear. Pushing, hitting, things like that. Lets you deal very well with the Horde. You're also able to stun a Chaos Warrior if you catch him. There you go. And when you run out of stamina, simply light attack and then heavy attack and alternate between the push hit and that sequence right there. Great crowd control. The fourth and final member of our ultimate range team here is Victor Saltspire, aka the Witch Hunter Captain. For him, I like the Rapier. Crit chance, attack speed, swift sling. This is going to be great for hordes and elites. Light attacks for hordes, obviously charge attacks for elites. Makes this thing incredibly dangerous. I like the brace of pistols for my range weapon, but you know, whatever you're comfortable with really is fine. But power versus chaos, crit chance, Scrounger for saving some ammo. I mean, this is really great for monsters. It's pretty decent for most specials. I think it can struggle against like gun rats or something because they have more health, but it's pretty good. I mean, the brace of pistols are strong. The necklace, I like health, block cost reduction. You can use bark skin here. You can use a natural bond. I don't think he really needs Boon of Shalia because he does make quite a crazy amount of temp health, but probably I'd say bark skin or natural bond work pretty decent on this guy. Charm, power versus chaos, attack speed, concoction. This guy definitely benefits from concoction. It will refund, I think, just about all of his ability cooldown. Maybe not quite all, but it'll get him like within 10 or 5 seconds or something. The trinket, again, same as the others. Crit chance, curse resistance, and shrapnel. For the talents, I like Walking Judgment, damaging for temp health. I personally like Flens. When you hit an enemy with a melee attack, they bleed for a little extra damage, but Death Knell here is also pretty good. Increases your headshot bonus damage by 50%, so really just kind of a personal choice. Do you want to deal more with elites, or do you really want to deal more with hordes? Assassin, obviously, 40% headshot damage, 40% extra crit damage. Very excellent here. Wild Fervor is amazing. The whole party gets a 5% increased critical hit chance when you kill like a special or a elite or even a monster, something you can tag. And then depending on how confident you are in your Pyromancer and your Waystalker, you can just go for more ammo here for the brace of pistols, or you can go for Castaway, which is when you push an enemy, it increases your stamina regen for 2 seconds, and that's going to work really good with the Rapier, which you'll see in a bit here. And then down here for the ultimate, Fervency, Animosity grants Victor guaranteed melee critical strikes for the duration. So this is really going to be great, because not only is he going to be able to just crit for like 6 seconds and just destroy everything, but he gives his nearby allies, the whole team, if they're in range, 25% increased critical hit chance. And if your Pyro's at max stacks and he ults, she's going to have 80% crit chance, guys. So stick together. So what makes Witch Hunter Captain great is he's downright excellent for both monsters, hordes, and elites. This man can do everything. I mean, that monster died in like 2 seconds, guys. Come on. And when it comes to hordes, he can be right up there on the front line with Mercenary, taking out specials as well. And with that push hit, stamina regen ability, simply push hit, and you don't even need to build for stamina because you'll get it back so quick. He's also got 100% block cost reduction against light attacks, making this guy one of my favorite classes. Two in front, two behind, the simple formation for this team. Yeah. He annihilates everything. I'm telling you.